This demonstration is a Oxy-Acetylene rig. So this is the 2-bottle rig. We've got acetylene and oxygen, so it's going to burn hotter. And this fired up and see, I'm going to use the same brazing alloy, which is a 5%. The 15% is actually very popular. It's also very expensive. The 5%, I guarantee you today's 5%, you can't tell the difference. So we're going to do a couple of brazes here and see. I light the fuel first, and then I bring the oxygen on. And what I'm looking for is a well-defined cone, maybe 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. I don't want that. That's not good. That's too hot, and I don't want that. This would be like a carbonizing fire. That's not a good fire, so I'm just going to keep dialing it in until I get that nice shaped cone. It's not very loud, but that's very hot, and I'm going to use that one there. So the same kind of thing that you would do with any torch, you're just going to kind of control the heat by coming on and off the work, not this way, but backwards. Since it does get quite hot, I'm going to be real conscious of that, and I'll be careful. This is small copper. This is a big fire, and I want to watch that I don't overheat it and burn a hole in it. So you notice as it gets too hot, I just back away. People's tendency is to go off. I'm just going to back away. I don't want it to cool off. I just want it to stay a certain temperature. It's hot. I'm going to move the alloy around, and then I'm going to take a look at it while it's still hot. I don't see anything that could possibly ever leak. Move up to the next one. It's already going to be warm because the heat travels up that copper that fast. Same thing. I'm just going to go around here, get it hot to where it's flowing in. Bump the torch. Okay, kind of the same method. That looks good. Then I'll go ahead and seal the top since I crimped it just for a demonstration. First thing I do is put it in there. Second time, if I need it, I can go back over it, a little less heat so it kind of remains on top. Okay, it's perfect. Absolutely no leaks. So I can sharpen that cone up a little bit. We're going to do this one here. Now, remember, anytime you're down by the vise is a heat sink. The vise is sucking this heat in. So with this torch, it won't be a problem. But if it was cold outside and the vise was cold, I'll just keep that in mind. I'm keeping the heat mainly in the bowl, but I will occasionally bring it up just so I get that top piece hot too. And then I just test it every once in a while to see if I have it hot enough. Once I do, this alloy will start melting. And honestly, once the alloy melts and connects the coppers together, the heat transfers really fast. And I'll move around it. If I can move around the copper, I will, recognizing that a lot of times we can't. That looks good. If I see something I don't like, I can just melt it off and smooth it out a little bit. Now I'll go ahead and do the top. It's probably hot too by now because this heat moves up to this copper really fast. Anything that conducts electricity well also conducts heat well. Okay. Gonna cap this off a little bit. I'll back the heat up. Just like that. Looks good. It's not going to leak. Reverse the process, turning this off. Make sure it's no flame still out there before you put it up. Sometimes these torches leak a little bit. There'll be the tiniest little flame still there. Finally, the other thing we're going to do, we're always going to turn this off at the bottles. And I'll go ahead and do it right now and show you what I'm talking about. We're going to turn it off at the bottles. Some people get confused and they start going up to the regulator and cranking the regulators off. That doesn't do anything but make the pressure higher. And then I left my wrench on here because I wanted to be sure that I could get to it fast. Bottles are closed. I still have fuel and oxygen in my hoses. I'm going to bleed that off. I'm watching my regulators go down to 0. Okay, it's bled out. Now it's safe to put in the car or truck.